Hi garden friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Era and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A, where I do gardening related videos. Today, I'll be highlighting some plants that are still blooming. Here we are in the first week in October, and plants are in full bloom. They're in their second flush, and some plants are actually still throwing out blooms on the third go around. Let's get started. First up is this beautiful Azalea. This one here is Canyon Creek. And this guy has been blooming for the last 2 months, guys. No joke. If you go back into my videos, you will see a spotlight video when I did the spotlight video when it was in its first initial bloom, and it actually never stopped blooming. It bloomed and bloomed and bloomed. It didn't stop and then start again. It was just constantly blooming. I love this plant. I love Azalea. I have Canyon Creek, and I recently got Rose Creek Azalea on clearance a couple of weeks ago, but this guy's in the ground and it is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that, guys. Here we are, first week in October, and this Azalea is still going strong. So if you're looking for something that will take you further into the season and not just after August, well, not just, April to August, Canyon Creek Azalea is a perfect one. I'm in Zone 8A. It is evergreen. It might get damaged if we get a really, really bad winter, but we really don't get bad winters, We'll probably go down to 10. We'll, stay there for a couple of seconds or something, but we don't really get that cold where I am, specifically where I am in Georgia. So this is Canyon Creek Azalea. Next up is the beautiful Dahlias. I have several Dahlias in my yard. I had to dig up a couple of them the other day and put them in a container because they, Dahlias need to be staked. And I'm not the best staker, so the plant was kind of like keeling over. And so I had to cut it back to put it in a container and let it stay there for a while. So that one's not blooming, but this one particular here is blooming. It is a beauty. If I remember the name of it, I will put it on the screen. This is a very faint violet purple one, and it's completely budded up. Here's a closer picture of it here. It is completely budded up and doing really, really great. This one in particular does not flop as much as the others, but Dahlias, they're great. Even though they do flop, they're so gorgeous. I think they're one of the actual most beautiful plants in the garden, but they, some of them need to be staked. And again, here are all the buds. Dahlias should go all the way to the frost, guys. Next up, guys, we have the beautiful Mystic Spire Sage. This is a type of salvia, and it is a beauty in the garden. The pollinators absolutely love it. I got this one from Kroger. It wasn't the usual place where I shop for plants, but I went to the Kroger's to get some food, and I saw this and I picked it up. I didn't think it was going to be this nice, but it's really, really nice. It is completely budded up. The pollinators love it. It's in full sun, and I love the growth habit. I love the fact that the foliage is at the bottom and the blooms are at the top of the foliage. What a beauty, guys. Look at the bee going in on this one. This one here, I believe, is hardy to Zone 6, so it'll come back for me as a perennial here in Georgia. And I just love bluish, purplish plants, as you know. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know I aspire to have more blue and purples in the yard. Let me know if you have Mystic Spire Sage and how it does for you in your garden. Next up, guys, we have mums. Mums are the word here for me. I love mums. And when I first started out with mums, They were in my fall planters, and I kept buying mums. And somebody told me, "Oh, you know they come back, right?" I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." He said, and the person who told me that, he said, when you're done making your planters and you're ready to switch over, put them in the ground. But put them in the ground in time before it gets really, really wet so they can establish. And he was so right, guys. This is 4 years worth of mums that I have bought over the years, made in my planters. And after I was done with the planters, I actually put them in the ground, and they have come back reliably for me. Here's a white mum here. This one looks like, this one is completely budded up, but it looks like it's going to be one of them orangey looking ones. This red one here, oh my goodness, guys, look at that. So for me, mums do come back. You don't have to, well, if you're in my zone, or maybe 7, 8, or 9, don't throw your mums away. If you have space for them, if you want them in the ground, you can take them in the ground, and this is what happens. They come all the way back. Here are some yellow mums. These ones are from last year. That's why they're so small. I have to trim them back, but my goodness, guys, the mums are great for me here in Georgia. They're in full sun. I don't do anything special to them. I don't add anything to it. I just put it in the ground and let it do what it's going to do. Now, here's a purpley one right there. And here's some more red right here. But they definitely need to be trimmed back, guys. Let me know how your mums do, and if you put them in the ground after you're done with your planters, or if you throw them away. But here in Georgia, for me, they come back reliably. I just trim them back. They actually bloom, guys, if you can believe it. And I've said this in one of my videos before. These actually give me some blooms in the spring. Next up, guys, we have the beautiful Mexican petunia. I love this plant. I fell in love with this plant when I bought it. I bought it for $16.98 at Home Depot, and it has come back. And it is actually a zone 8 plant for me, and which is pretty much on the borderline, but it comes back. It comes back reliably, and it looks even bigger and better. I had bought this in a 1.5 gallon, I believe, and I don't know the exact name of this plant. I don't even think it actually gave a name on the container. It just says Mexican petunia, but I'm not sure. What I love about this plant is that it blooms and blooms and blooms all the way to the frost. I love the purple foliage. I love the purple blooms. I love the dark stems. And I love the fact that it just blooms and blooms and blooms. Now, this guy here, apparently it spreads in other areas. I think in Florida it might be invasive, but for me here, the winter kills it back enough where it's not invasive. I love it because the pollinators go nuts. If the hummingbirds actually love this plant. It is an absolute beauty, guys. And every day there's a new bloom. As you can see, this guy here, he's going to fall off, and then these guys here are going to come out tomorrow. And so it's a combination of plants, foliage, and beautiful flowers, guys. I really enjoy plants that have these square stems and these I love dark stemmed plants. And I've been noticing that a lot of these dark stem plants that I have actually bloom later on in the season. I don't know if that means something, but I've been noticing that it is completely budded up, guys. Mexican petunia, full sun plant here for me in Georgia, blooms all the way to the frost. Beautiful purple foliage, loved by the pollinators. And something to look at here in the first week in October. All right, guys, so I know you recognize this one here, the beautiful Autumn Joy Sedum. Not much I can say about this, but except for the fact that it is my favorite plant. It blooms great, loved by the pollinators, full sun, doesn't need a lot of water, and has been tried and true. I have it all over the yard. It does absolutely amazing. It's actually past, just a little past its prime, and it's turning, the flowers are actually turning darker, because before they were red, they were bright red and bright pink, but now they're like a reddy brown, so which means that they're actually past peak and going to the opposite end. But it does not matter, because it is an absolute beauty. Full sun plant, no, not much water needed, reliable, upstanding. Even in the storms, this plant stands up. It does not get broken up, or it doesn't get broken up in the middle, and it doesn't split. It is an absolute beauty. Autumn Joy Sedum. This is a perennial and loved by many. Don't know if you call them blooms, but I definitely want to highlight the berries on this beautiful Pearl Glam beauty berry. This one here, guys, I know I tell the story a lot, but I have to tell it again. I bought this thing in a quart online from Proven Winners Direct. You know how small those quarts are, and it actually did not have any leaves on it. They told me by the instructions to put this thing in the garage until the weather gets better. That was last November, guys. This plant has overperformed. It is an absolute gorgeous beauty. It has white blooms in the spring, and this is what you see in the fall. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Let me grab a stem here so you can get a better idea of how the berries look. And all the stems have it, guys. All the stems have it. I'm just so in love with this plant. I see this plant for $48 and all kinds of things for 1 gallon and a 2-gallon online. I bought this thing for $14 online, and I'm so happy. And you know, $14 for a quart is something that I wouldn't do, but I knew that this plant was supposed to be something, and it is definitely showing what it can do. It is a full sun plant, and look at that, guys. Pearl Glam Beauty Berry by Proven Winners. In October, we have berries, and the birds are going to love it. Next up, we have some beautiful Encore Azaleas. This particular one here is Autumn Ivory. Autumn Ivory, and like most of the not the Proven Winners, the Encore Azaleas, they bloom 3 times a year. Now, the first flush is way more prolific than this, but for a fall flush, this is really not bad, guys, because look at that. We have all these beautiful blooms, and then we have all these buds on here getting ready to do their thing. These azaleas are evergreen for me here in Georgia, and they are usually hardy from zones 6 to 10 or 6 to 9. They do really, really well. The pollinators love them, and they do really well in this area. Azaleas in particular do really, really well in this area. So this one is Autumn Ivory. This one here is Autumn Embers. This one here has an orangey red look. And this one is Autumn Lily. This is one of my favorite one because it is white and it has a pink line on it. It's a beauty. It's not as pronounced right now, but as you can see, it has the blooms and it is budded up and it is a beauty. These guys here needs more sun than the usual azaleas. You know, the azaleas that I have, a lot of people have those old-fashioned azaleas where they only bloom in the spring and they can't take as much sun. These Encore azaleas can take way more sun. Now, they don't need to be burnt up, but they definitely can take a little bit more sun than the old-fashioned azaleas. So this one here is Autumn Lily. Here's that purple line I was telling you about. I really, really like this plant, guys. This is the beautiful Purple Heart. And I love it simply because it's purple, and I love it because it's very reliable and tough. Now, when you handle it, it can break off a little bit, but it doesn't seem to matter because the plant just, you know, keeps on thriving. The plant keeps on going. It spreads, so if you don't want it to spread, then you might want to put it in a container. But if it's okay to spread and let it do what it's going to do, it's a great plant. It comes back for me in the winters. And I love these beautiful purple blooms. Really, really nice. When I went to Costa Rica, I saw these all over the place. So they do really, really well in the tropics. Now, I'm not in a tropical area, but I am in Zone 8A, and it does really, really well, guys. This is the beautiful Purple Heart. It is in part sun in my yard. It's not in the blazing sun, and I know it can do quite well either way, but it seems to be doing great right here. Let me know if you have Purple Heart in your yard and how it does. Finally, guys, we have some beautiful roses. You guys know I love roses, and all of my roses were bought from Walmart for $9.97 and back in February. And I have some videos on my channel showing you how I pot up my roses, how I prep, how I fertilize, and everything. This particular one here that this bee is going in on, now he's trying to get in because it's so hard to get in for him to get the pollen, but my goodness, guys, he is trying. This one is Love and Peace from Walmart again, $9.97. And these guys here will bloom for me all the way down to the frost. Now I need to obviously trim this back, and if I was taking care of these roses the way that roses need to be taken care of, they would look even better. But can you tell me, guys, look how gorgeous this Love and Peace is. The foliage looks good too, because you know, if you don't give roses what they want, which is a lot of sun and not wet feet, they will give you back what you want. But you know, it's just so finicky either way with roses. But I'm really, really happy with these $9.97 roses from Walmart, and they have been doing well. I cut them, I put them in a vase, I bring them in the house. I'm really loving Love and Peace. Right next to that one is Gold Medal. Look at this beauty here. Gold Medal. Now again, it's October, so it's not full of roses, but it's still pushing out roses. So here's a full bloom, and then here's something here that is budded up and get ready to give me more bloom. So that's Gold Medal. The other ones are not blooming right now, but this guy here, one of my favorites, is Rio Samba, and Rio Samba is completely budded up. And this one here has a red and an orangey look. And again, I should have trimmed this back, but again, no need to keep talking about it. It is really, really pretty. Really, really nice. Rio Samba right there. Hopefully I can get it when it completely opens and you can have a better picture of it. But if you go back in my channel, you'll see I have it already somewhere on the channel where I'm pointing out all my beautiful roses. But these are not open yet. The Rio Samba is not open yet. But the Love and Peace and the Gold Medal for sure, guys. Let me know how your roses do and where you get your roses from and how they're holding up in the first week in October. Guys, please like, please share, please subscribe, and remember to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on my new videos. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.